Good evening, Spring Hill Suns. My name is Jason Thompson, and I'm excited to be here with you today as you walk through history. I'm going to be reading to you from a book that Mrs. Gay provided to me to read to you. It's called A Taste of Colored Water. It was written and illustrated by Matt Faulkner. Matt Faulkner, A Taste of Colored Water. It was Abby Finch who started it all. Seems Abby'd gone on a shopping trip to the big city with her mama, and she'd seen a sign, clear as day, hanging over a water bubbler that read colored. We thought she was crazy. Who'd ever heard of colored water coming out of a bubbler? More than likely, this was just another one of her stories. Everyone knew Abby was a first-rate fibber. But good heavens, colored water? What if it were true? And crazy or not, Abby made it sound so fine. That girl, she could talk. Jelly, well, that's short for Julius, was my cousin and best friend. He and I pondered the wondrous possibilities of colored water all the way home. The more we talked, the more we wanted to see it and taste it. Jelly said, "Lulu," that's my name, short for Lucretia, "we got to get a look at the bubbler. Abby might be crazy, but we'd be even crazier if we didn't see for ourselves." I, of course, agreed. We just had to find a way to get to the big city, that's all. Didn't matter that neither Jelly or I had ever been there. That wasn't important. We'd made a vow, you see, and the wheels of fate were turning. And wouldn't you know it, the wheels of fate rolled right up onto Jelly's front lawn the next morning. It verged on the miraculous, and this is how it happened. Uncle Jack borrowed a tractor, and the tired old thing broke down. Jelly and I were sitting on the front porch the very moment Uncle Jack decided to drive into the big city to get a new part for the tractor's engine. We offered to come along and keep him company. Uncle Jack wouldn't have it, though. Don't test me now, children. I'm busy. Jelly and I were nothing if not persistent. We pestered poor old Uncle Jack till he gave in. "Enough," he said. "But I don't want no silliness from y'all, and I expect you to stay in the truck while I'm in the store. Understand?" "Oh, yes, sir," said Jelly, as we climbed into the truck. There we were, side by side in Uncle Jack's truck, bouncing along on the road to the big city. Life was good. We had a jug of lemonade and some peaches too, and it was such fun going on about the colored water, whispering and giggling. Uncle Jack had no idea. That was a good thing, because he would have turned the truck tight around if he'd known what we were up to. The big city wasn't like home. No, not at all. We watched the buildings along the road grow bigger and bigger. There were hardly any trees and no fields, but lots more people walking and talking, or just sitting around fanning themselves in the heat. "Mind yourselves now," said Uncle Jack. "No more silliness." The big city made me nervous, and I knew Jelly was nervous because he was holding my hand so tight. I think Uncle Jack was nervous too. After what seemed like forever, Uncle Jack gave a big sigh. There it is, City Hall. The tractor shop is just across the street. I looked at Jelly, and Jelly looked at me. City Hall. We made it. Colored water was so close. Oh, I could taste it already. Cherry, lemon, orange, and apple, all those flavors in one gulp. Jelly and I were looking all about, but there was no sign of a bubbler. What if Abby had just been telling another fib? Uncle Jack brought the truck to a stop, and he put his big hand on Jelly's shoulder. "Stay in the truck while I go in the store. I won't be but a minute." He stepped out of the truck and slammed the door, Stay put. As soon as Uncle Jack walked into the store, we hopped out of the truck. "Look, Lulu," cried Jelly. He pointed across the street. Sitting close by the big white city hall was a water bubbler, and hanging above it was a sign that said colored. "Let's go," I hollered. We ran across the street. I looked up the hill and saw the bubbler again. There it was, just waiting for us. "Let's race," said Jelly, and we rushed up the hill. Jelly was faster than me and sprinted ahead. I caught up to him at the top of the little hill, and we stood there staring at the bubbler. I told Jelly to go ahead and have a drink. He'd gotten to the bubbler first. It was only fair. "No," he said, "you go first. Ladies before gentlemen." Jelly just stood there smiling. "I'll stand back here and keep an eye out for Daddy. You go ahead and have a drink." It was such a kind thing for him to do, so I curtsied and took a step toward the bubbler. Funny, it didn't look any different than a regular water bubbler. I had thought it might look special, sort of heavenly, but it looked as plain as can be. I stepped up to the stone, grabbed the handle, gave it a twist, and watched as the colored water bubbled up. It sparkled in the sun and was so pretty. Just then I heard singing. Down the other side of the hill, I saw a crowd of folks marching along the road. They carried signs and they were singing. The singing was so loud, almost like shouting, but they seemed so happy that I wanted to run down and join them. On the other side of the square, I could see a whole bunch of policemen and firemen. They looked as if they were waiting for the marching singers, and I thought maybe they'd all sing a song when they came together, but that wasn't what happened. As the parties came closer, I saw the firemen raise their fire hose and shoot great gushes of water straight into the marching singers. It was a hot day, and I thought maybe they were trying to give the marchers a treat. But the water came out so fast and hard it knocked folks clean off their feet. They kept shooting that water, hurting people. I tried to shout, "Stop, stop," but my throat was so dry, I started to feel dizzy, like a nest of hot bees was swarming in my head. Just then I felt Jelly tug at my sleeve. "What you doing?" he said. "You gonna have a drink or not?" I didn't answer him, just stepped back off the stone and fell down onto the ground. Jelly knelt beside me. "Are you all right, Lulu?" I nodded and told him to hurry up and take his drink of the colored water. He hopped up to the stone, twisted the handle, and leaned forward to have a taste. I didn't even see the policeman at first. "Get away from there, boy. That water ain't for you. It's for colors." He yanked Jelly down from the bubbler and pushed him to the ground next to me. "Can't you see what's going on?" he shouted. "This is no place for children. Now get." He yanked the leash and dragged his dog all the way down the hill toward the parade. It snapped and snarled the whole way. I heard someone calling our names. "Jelly! Lulu!" It was Uncle Jack. We raced down the hill. Uncle Jack met us on the road and carried us back to the truck. I was so happy to feel his scratchy old beard on my face. "I told you to stay put," Uncle Jack yelled. He scolded us pretty fierce. I've never seen him so angry. Jelly was crying. I soon took to crying too. "Oh, now, I'm sorry," said Uncle Jack. "I was just angry because y'all scared me." I was so tired I could barely keep my eyes open. The humming of the tires was making me so sleepy. I must have slept all the way home, but before I nodded off, I do remember wondering about the marching singers, and the firemen, and the policeman's dog, and last of all, I remember Jelly asking, "Daddy, what color does a person have to be to get a taste of colored water?" Boys and girls, that was A Taste of Colored Water by Matt Faulkner. So Mrs. Gay, thank you for inviting me to Spring Hill, and I hope that y'all enjoy your walk through history. Have a good day.